Without a vision, the people perish. Welcome to Vision Plus, a program featuring a positive outlook, dealing with everyday situations of marriage, children, and business. Believing Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Teacher, author, speaker, delighting audiences from New York to Sacramento with a heart and message for the people today. Bonnie would like to remind you of the 800 number on the screen. Please feel free to call at any time throughout the broadcast and share your concerns. Leave your prayer request and someone will pray with you. And now, teacher, author, and speaker.
Hello and welcome. I'm Bonnie Libhart, and you're watching Vision Plus. Without a vision, the people perish. And we want you to get a vision for what you're going to do next. We're going to be talking about people who had a job and maybe they got laid off, or the company closed, or the company reduce the number of employees that they have and what they're doing. I know certain companies here in the Tennessee Valley area and Huntsville and Madison that they have reduced the number of employees. Some have gone to 32 hours when they were 40 hours. Some of them have gone to, maybe take a month off. I know one company asked, is there anyone that could take off a month and let them just be taking a vacation for a month, and they would not get paid for that time unless they had vacation coming. They could actually get their unemployment. They could also, there's another thing that they can do, and that is to get another job for that month. But then the company hopes to come back and hire the people again. So whatever happens, we have two companies that I know of that are looking for people that they can hire. And so if you call our number, the toll-free number, 877-823-6886, and we'll let you know what companies they are, and you can get back in touch with us. We'll let you send your resumes. You need to rewrite your resumes. Get your resumes up again so that they can mean something. This is an opportunity for you to actually do something different. Maybe you've been wanting for a long time. I just got back, we did, from our family reunion the last Friday and Saturday, and people were from Flint, Michigan, and Pontiac, and a lot of places in Michigan that did work for General Motors. And they had always wanted to do something else, so one of them got hired by a company that they could work for them in the plumbing, and another one electrical, and some of them started businesses that they had wanted to start for a long time. Some have been doing writing for magazines or a book that they thought they could write. So it's your turn to find out what you can do that you will have a success in what you're doing. And one of the main people that I met him at church, Tom McKee. Now, Tom is a person that can tell us a little bit about a company that he worked for, and he was the chief executive officer and very, very successful with the company. Tom, welcome to Vision Plus.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you very much.
And I want you to just tell us a little bit about when you were CEO of the company and what all happened to that company.
Okay. Well, I'll start with my life here in the area in Alabama. I grew up on a cotton farm just a few miles from here.
So did I.
And yeah, it was a great childhood, great experience, a lot of hard work. And I went on to college after the farm, went to Auburn, got my mechanical engineering degree. And then I went to work for Chrysler Corporation just as a product design engineer. While I was there, decided to go ahead and get my electrical engineering degree. I did that. After I received my electrical engineering degree, I went to work for Honda Research and Development up in Ohio. Spent 3 years there, lived in Japan for 3 months, and spent a lot of time in Japan and working with the Japanese. And then I left Honda. I wanted to come back home. My wife and I liked the area here. Our families were here, so we decided that the best for our children, and we planned to have a family, to start back here to Alabama. At that time, we moved back to Philips Electronics, which is a Dutch company. Very good company, and traveled back and forth to Europe quite a bit. I started out as an applications engineer there, and then worked my way up to general manager for a $90 million organization for North and South America. And we had several employees scattered all over the North America and South America. We had an office in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and also here in the U.S. With that, I spent a lot of time on the road. One year I put 260,000 actual miles on an airplane. That was not a year that I want to remember very well, but at great expense to my family. My girls were young, and although I enjoy working, I tend to place a little too much emphasis on work, and that became kind of my idol at times. So. My boss called me about a year ago, and actually this was in August of last year, and he asked me to take a global position in addition to my general management responsibilities. We had gone through a joint venture with a Taiwanese corporation, and with that, I would have to be on the road even more than I was before. So I would be in Taiwan and in China, and every quarter I'd have to make the global trip, so around the world. And I could see that eventually I'd have to move to Europe. This was not a U.S. position. It would have been a European and Asian position, so I would have had to move to either Taiwan, China, or to Germany. And with our families being here, I hesitated. My boss said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I think I need to talk to my wife before we make a decision here." So I talked to him, and I prayed a lot about it. And we, at that point, had decided that we needed to stay in the area. I didn't have another position, didn't have another job. And I trusted in God that He would take care of us, and He did. I left the company. I talked to my boss. My boss was very generous and very happy that I had made the decision for my family and not for work and the executive position, I guess. So he actually was glad that I was working toward what I wanted for my family.
Now, for your family, tell us about your children.
I have a beautiful wife, Christy, and two beautiful girls, Claire 13 and Abby's 10. And we have built a home in Madison, and just really enjoy the area and the community there. We have quite a few characters in the community, but it gives the community character too. So we love the area. We love our neighbors. But our girls are at Madison Academy now. They've been in school there for a year. Really enjoyed the school and the area. So with that, we decided that I would leave Philips. My boss asked me what I needed to leave. I told him. He said, "That's fine. We'll take care of you." And within a month, I had talked to a very dear friend of mine, Jesse May. We've been working on Outback America, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that too. But with Jesse's help, I was put in contact with a company, a biomedical startup here in town, and became the CEO of that company. The company was working and is working on developing biomedical devices that detect diseases early in their stages, and examples are lung cancer and also diabetes. So with that device, which is a very instrumental and very good way to detect early stages of these diseases, they're trying to actually put that in the market and bring it from concept to commercial development. And I tried to help the company actually get some things in place and work toward that. And the people who were actually working in the company were both Christians, and we had a very good relationship. And I was very, very pleased to be working with them. But as CEO of that company, I would have loved to stay with the company, but with my family, I felt like I needed, and I could feel myself getting back into the work and spending more time on the road. And we actually God put it on my heart again that we were getting too deep into things, and we did not get the funding that we had expected, and it was not enough to keep me on and keep the company going. So I talked with the owners of the company and said, listen, I love the company. If I was single, I would be all over this, and it would be great. But I have a family. I need to spend more time with my family, and that's the reason I left the first time, and I really don't want to get back into this again. The company, and I still like to help the company when I can, but I left there, and so I was without work again in December. So 2 times within 3 months, and I'm not a person who wants to be without a job. So I have to tell you, the next month I had been doing a lot of money, and it's a lot of responsibility, and you have to know what you were doing, what your story was, and what you want to do. And here's the secret too: know what you want to do.
Yes.
You have to not only know what you've done and what has happened to you, but know what you want to do. This is a very exciting time for you because you have an opportunity to change, to do, to make a new career for yourself and actually go out on your own. So I was very excited on one hand, scared to death on the other hand. But
true.
Thankfully, my wife was there to support me. And,
now, does she work away from home?
She does not right
she
now.
Does.
She's an excellent mom, and she spends 20 hours a day working with our girls, and every moment is put into those 2 girls.
And I know Madison Academy just had graduation on Sunday because
Right.
there was people that couldn't go on
Right,
Saturday, so
right,
they made it for Saturday,
right,
Sunday. So she's been busy just staying.
Absolutely, and she substitutes. She's a very, very brilliant lady, so she substitutes sometimes at Madison Academy to be close to the girls. But having the story together and having your story together on your resume and actually putting down the objectives you want to meet and having your resume laid out properly also is something that's very important. And Bonnie, I can certainly give you a copy of my resume to kind of see where things led, but I feel that had a lot to do with finding a position. Within 3 weeks, I had 2 job offers, and one job offer was with Pratt & Whitney here in town, and as a program manager, and it had a little bit of travel, but not a lot. And then the other position was a position with my friend Jesse May and his company, and the 2 guys that I had interviewed, Jesse May and Jay Chandler, actually are running the company, and they offered me a position, but at the time I had no idea what the position would be. I have a lot of background and experience that they felt like they could use, and so they offered me a job. It was less money, but it was a great position, and I knew the company, and I knew these.
Miss Christie accepted it, okay?
Absolutely.
That
absolutely.
I'm going to take this job. You probably
Right.
discussed it with her.
Oh, absolutely.
People need to discuss it with her family and say, yes, I am going to take this job, and it's even though it's less money.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
so did you just kind of take your living down to what you earn now?
Well, it has all worked out. I went to work for Jesse, not knowing what my title would be. I kind of knew what I was going to be doing, but did not know what my title would be. But I obviously these are good men. They're very good men.
I
very
know
godly
we were
men.
praying for you to get the job that you wanted.
Well, I hope you were praying for God to put me where I needed to be, and,
Okay.
and I think He has. My wife and my family have certainly been a support for me, and that has helped a whole lot. But these 2 men have a great company, and I went to work there. I'm now the Chief Technology Officer there, so I'm getting to do exactly what I've wanted to do all my life, and what my degrees and experience have allowed me to do. So in addition to my 2 engineering degrees, I have an executive MBA degree from Auburn, and that was a very tough decision too, because I was traveling all the time, and I talked to my wife, and we actually sold our house, moved to Huntsville, went into a rental home, and I didn't do anything for 3 years except go to school and work, and she took care of everything around the house. So it's very important for your family to buy into what you're going to be doing, and planning is key. If you plan what you want to do with your family, and everybody agrees on that and is working toward that, then that's I think it teaches your children something too, that you have to have goals in life. And I do want to say too, if you have a dream, keep your dream to yourself, because the only way it becomes a reality is if you keep your dream to yourself. As a little boy, I wanted to be an engineer, but I never expected I would have the ability and capability to go to school and become an engineer. But keeping that to myself and not telling people, I believe that people want to tear your dreams down, so you need to be careful. Share it with God. Maybe if you have someone who's very close to you, but be careful, because even the people who are closest to you sometimes will be negative and tell you can't do something.
Well, it says, don't cast your pearls before swine, and I guess that's kind of a message that if it's really important to you, you do keep it for yourself. And when you set your goals, they're long range, short range, tangible, intangible, and the goal settings, I call them SMART goals: specific, measurable, SMA, attainable, realistic, and then time-based. So you did that, and that's what I think our viewers have to do, is they have to figure out maybe what their dreams and goals are, and go ahead and change that resume to fit what you can do, but also what this new company has that they need. Because, as I said, I know 2 companies that are really looking for people, and so we just need, even though they may not have as much experience. So what are you doing now, and what did you end up doing?
So and getting into this too, if you are actually looking for a position right now, there are companies out there, as Bonnie said, 2 companies, but the companies out there are hiring. Everybody is always looking for good people. You may have to go through and actually do a lot of legwork to get to these companies. But I want to say very clearly too that large companies, to go and interview with large companies, you need to go through their websites, and every one of these websites and large companies have software programs that actually screen your resumes for keywords, and there are other programs out there on the market to help you write your resume to hit those keywords in the application. So with large companies, that's what you have to do. With small companies, you need to know somebody. And it's not about what you know a lot of times, although it needs to be. It's about who you know.
You have to have both.
Right. You've got to have both. So if you go through and talk to people, make your contacts, do not be scared to ask for help. That is not a sign of weakness. That is a sign of strength. And people will see, if you'll ask for help for yourself, they know that you'll ask for help if you need help within the company, or you'll ask for help with the company also. So I consider that a sign of strength, and I hope that other people will too.
My neighbor across the street started her own business, and she had worked in the human resource companies before, and she still is doing it. She said they could use 300 people that NASA and Marshall and that are really in the North Alabama area. They need them that are, so people maybe need to go back to school and study some areas like you did. You got your MBA, your 2 different engineering degrees, so sometimes you just have to tighten your belt, sell the house, go to whatever you had to do. So let's hear what all you ended up doing, Tom.
Well, what I ended up doing, I went from a company that was actually just our division that I was responsible for was making $94 million a year. I had a budget for our operations of about $5.5 million a year, and I went from that to today. I have no one working for me. I have no real budget responsibilities, and I'm happier than I've ever been. I have a very nice title and work for a great company, and we will do great things. I have no doubt. But it is such a joy now for me to be with my family and be home with my family. And of course, we're all having to get used to each other again because I've been on the road so much. But it has been such a joy. And it's nice to be in a routine again. I'm able to get up in the mornings and do the things I want to do. I've been able to get involved in Outback America.
Tell me what that is, a little bit about that.
Outback America is actually a parent and child, or husband and wife, weekend. We actually bring people in. We take their cell phones. We take their car keys.
Uh-oh.
They have no choice but to talk to God and talk to each other. And
I want to go.
Well, absolutely, we'd love to have you. So and we're in April of this next year in 2010, April 29th weekend. We're planning to have an Outback America here in North Alabama. Outback, if you go to outbackamerica.org, then you can actually sign up for one of the weekends. We have them in the fall and in the spring, Mobile, Sylacauga, and Tuscaloosa. Great. I have seen more people, lives changed. I've seen parents come in with kids who are just abusive to their parents, not talking with them. They literally have had to drag their kids to this weekend. And by the end of the weekend, they are standing up in front of 200, 300 people telling them what a great parent they have and what they have done for them.
Yes.
And so it is something that changed, and I know it's changed my life, and it's changed several people's lives. So it's nice for me to be able to do that.
Have you taken your teenagers yet?
I have. I've taken Claire. Claire and I went in the spring of last year, and then in the fall of last year, and we came back. And this year we volunteered to work down in Sylacauga, and I don't know what to tell people other than when I went with Claire, I cried from Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon, and I'm a very emotional person anyway. I think you know that. So, but it is just an amazing weekend. And
then you probably knit together as a family so much compared to, because they have to get used to you and you got to get used to them.
But God, I think God has laid this out for me, and as I said, God tells us that if we pray for wisdom, He will give it to us, and I believe that He has. But it's not simple, and it's not easy to trust sometimes. But once you do, I think it will pick up and actually run for you.
I guess that it was difficult for Christy in a way to say, I've been making all these decisions about buying the groceries and taking care of the kids and how long I'll be working. I don't really know this. I'm just saying that usually if a husband has been traveling a lot and they come home, I'm thinking about one girl that goes to our church that she says to him, I've been making these decisions. Now you want to know what all I'm doing and what I'm doing. So both of you have to kind of communicate on what do you really want for groceries?
Absolutely. Well, she's a great. I call her our chief operating officer at home. She takes care of everything at home, and she's been doing the books and the financials for years. So
now, Tony, I might not be able to do all of that, so.
Okay.
But it's wonderful to hear you say that you've been able to communicate with each other, because and now, in addition to working Outback America, I just love the name of that, through Twickenham or
we actually we meet on Tuesday mornings up at the Ledges at 6:15 in the morning. Every Tuesday morning, we just have a men's prayer group. We sing. We actually
is that part of Outback America?
It is. It's part of Outback America. And
you do that year round? Or?
We do that year round. Certainly do. And it is a fabulous thing. We're actually doing the planning for that there. And again,
is it
Jesse,
just the men that do that?
It's just the men.
But when you actually go, April of next year, it can be family.
Husbands, wives, parents, daughters, father, mother, and so on. So it's just parent teens.
Is it open to other people?
It's open to anyone. At the website, outbackamerica.org.
Okay.
You can sign up there. We will be on the website very soon. We're not on the website right now for North Alabama, but you can certainly sign up for Sylacauga or Mobile or Tuscaloosa. So that's a wonderful, wonderful work.
So what I hear you saying, and I think it's right for any of you, and we have family members that have been laid off or the company has actually not as many hours. So what I'd like you to do, if you would like to have more information about these companies that are needing help, you just call our toll-free number 877-823-6886. And I want to thank you for taking part of your Labor Day to come over and make the tape, and for Tony being off today. He's running camera for us. And I'm Bonnie Libhart, and if you want to know more about getting a job or what to do if you're laid off, just give us a call. I'm Bonnie Libhart, along with Tom McKee and Tony Libhart. Bless your heart for watching.